Brought to you by Moonbeam Multimedia.
This is 16 to 1, a podcast about education, teaching, and learning.
As we approach the holiday season, a time in which we normally do not put out any new content or episodes, I, Katie, thought it would be fun to share with our listeners a love letter to teaching. A list of warnings and reasons for why no one should ever be a teacher, and at the same time, a list of reasons why everyone should want to be a teacher. I've been in the classroom 10 years this year, with some additional substitute teaching experience, time spent working for a 21st Century Grant after-school program, as well as having been hired to work as a Title I reading tutor. I've seen a lot in 10 years. I'd venture to say I've seen more in these 10 years than most people see and experience upon retiring from other jobs outside of education. It has been deeply rewarding. It has been intensely challenging. It has been totally exhausting. I've been deeply rewarded in my career as a teacher. I've had the opportunity to work with some of the most brilliant people and educators that I've ever met. I've learned from some of the best, and it is not lost on me how lucky I am to have been in their presence. I've reminded myself year after year always to be a student of education, never to allow myself to become stuck in what had once worked and does no longer. Working with some of the brightest minds in my field has made that possible. They've challenged me, they've encouraged me, they've supported me, and my time as a teacher is made better by having been surrounded by people far better than myself. In teaching, I have made some of my greatest friends, some of whom are also my former students. Teaching high school is uniquely difficult, as I see these young people going through some of the worst times in their short lives. I see the big changes, I see heartbreaks, I see them grow 4 and 5 inches a year sometimes. I see trends and fads, I see them learning and becoming who they are, and I see some of them struggling to be what they want to be. My students have invited me to their weddings, to their homes for a holiday. They've called me after a breakup. They've told me their fears of being pregnant, being sick, or of them being without a home after having lost a parent or family member that once supported them. I've watched them go on to future athletic careers, see them earn bachelor's, master's, and PhDs, held their young children, and met them for breakfast and lunch, even after traveling as far as Germany and France to catch up. You will gain family in their families and find that some people are as deeply invested in you as you have been in them and their kids. I have witnessed their triumphs, watched their failures, and see some of them go through great reckonings to better themselves. Not every story ends the way you hope it would. Sometimes they don't find their way, and sometimes the relationships are not sustainable for numerous reasons. And on your worst day, some of your current and former students die, and nothing in your life will ever prepare you to grieve for a young person. There's no heartache like the one you feel for a student you've lost, or for a student who has made choices that forever change the course of their life. You will blame yourself. You could have done more. You could have been more present. You could have reached out. The list goes on and on of the guilt you place on yourself. These relationships are incredibly rewarding. You know you've played a role. You've had an impact. You've made change. And it happens even without the students or you knowing it sometimes, and I think that's one of the most magical parts of teaching. This job isn't for the faint of heart. You will be trained on how to save lives in the event of an active shooter. You will learn how to barricade doors and pack bullet holes in wounds. You will learn how to tie tourniquets, and you will learn how to use teenagers to your advantage. You'll be trained to assess every situation and to always be looking for what is more than meets the eye. They will protect you and care for you, try and fight your battles for you, and be endlessly loyal. Some days you're cleaning up bodily fluids off the floor, and other days you're mandated to report things that you couldn't imagine how you'd ever survive if it was happening to you personally. You'll be taught the signs of suicide, the importance of mental health, and you'll become a listening ear. Up until I got this job, I didn't consider myself a caretaker. What I realized quickly was that I had to learn to be patient, to be a willing listening ear, and I answer to mom occasionally, either on purpose or because a student had a slip of tongue. Some years, it seems as though I've seen these kids more than their own parents do, which has been true at times. All of this has come at a great cost, though. My life is forever changed and altered because of this work I've done. My commitment to my kids and my work has been a detriment in some aspects of my life, and it took a long time for me to realize that I couldn't keep pouring from an empty bucket. Teaching requires all of you. Every single bit of yourself that you can give, you do. And while you want to keep pouring and pouring into what you do, you can't keep investing if no one invests in you. It was a hard lesson to learn. In my head, I can easily rationalize why I answered emails at all hours of the day, why I stayed late to grade or got up early to go. The students don't realize the effort of teaching. They just know that they spend a large portion of their day in life with you. You're a constant for them, and they rely on you. They're greedy, they're leeches, but they don't know it, and it's okay. And I, as empathetic as I am, can give myself a million reasons why these kids need me and how I might be the most supportive person in their life. And while all of this is true, the hardest lesson to learn has been that you can only love and teach as much as you can keep up with. And for the most part, a lot of us are running on empty. When I learned that establishing boundaries from my career made me a better teacher, it seemed so backwards. How is less more in this case? Don't they need more of me, my time, my effort? As it turns out, they don't need more of anything, they need the best that I can give. Every day my best is different, but every day I leave knowing I gave what I had, and tomorrow maybe more, maybe less, but I'll only give so much as I can stand to lose. I really love teenagers. I love them in a way that most people don't understand. Honestly, I don't understand it either. I look at them and think I'd never want to raise one. But I love being around them. I love the honesty you get. There's nothing so humbling as a teenager who doesn't like your hair, your outfit, your shoes, your lesson, your voice. The list goes on and on. The things they don't like, everything. They hate it all. They can't believe I have a life, a partner, friends, family. They think I am a creation of the state here to do test prep with them until we're exhausted and my battery dies and I get shipped back to the warehouse where they charge me up and ship me somewhere else. Okay, they've never said that. But it feels like some of them look at me like they don't think real humans become me. That I was somehow designated from creation to just be Miss Day, and it's so hilarious. I travel, I love concerts, I have beliefs and thoughts and views, but to them, I'm the show that I perform, which is that of a high school English teacher. I am placed here to make them hate Shakespeare, to write essays, to force vocabulary words into their brains, and to make sure that they graduate high school. And it goes on like that for a while, and then over time, teachers become more complex and human to them. I love the shift that finally occurs when they see that I'm just as real and complex as they are. They're shocked. They can't believe I'm a human. They can't believe one day I sat in a high school English class just like them. Their little eyes light up and their brains fire whatever neurons are working at that moment, and it hits them that someday they could be in my shoes. And then they all immediately ask, why would you want to be a teacher? In short, I don't know. Some days I wonder why I ever did this. Some days I know I've made one of the biggest decisions of my life and I got it right. Some days I don't wonder. Some days it all makes sense. In every year of teaching, I thought about leaving teaching. The key word being thought. I've yet to pull the trigger. Not because I haven't tried, but either because jobs that seemed like a worthy risk didn't pan out, and in some cases, because I don't know how to find anything as fulfilling as what I get to do, and that scares me. So to teaching, you were my enemy, my best friend, my biggest regret, and my greatest achievement. My entire identity is somehow wrapped up in you, and I'm not sure what I'd ever be without you. I know I'd be less willing and eager. I'd be less flexible and compassionate. I'd be harder and harsher to the world around me, and I'd have far less hope for the future. To those of you still listening, still considering teaching, here's my best advice. Be open and willing, approach it with humility, be comfortable with never being in your comfort zone ever again, assume what you're told is true until you have a reason not to, believe in yourself, grow a thick skin, be willing to laugh at yourself, and know that every single day is going to somehow be both the best and worst day of your life. Remind yourself that there is always tomorrow. You can always change a lesson. You can always tell them, I don't know, and you can always say, I was wrong. My career has been heavily influenced by this quote from Maya Angelou, which states, when you learn, teach. When you get, give. May we all be willing to teach what we learn and give what we got.
Thanks for supporting 16 to 1.
We're trying to grow our audience, so please check us out at 16to1.com, all spelled out, and tell your friends about the show.
On our website, you can find links to follow us on social media, an archive of all our old episodes, and a contact form where you can get in touch.
Thanks again for listening, and we'll catch you next show. Oh, you good? Look at you! Just weeping silently in the corner. Uh,